Well, this is the first video I've done here, the long one, like this. I'm using a tree, like a bush, to hold my phone, and I'm sitting in a beautiful garden. And I just did this whole video, and accidentally pressed some time lapse thing, and it just didn't work. It was dead fast, and now I'm having to do it again, which frustrates me, but that's okay. So yeah, the first video, long one like this, I think I've done. Oh no, I've done another one, but um, yeah, from my my position of exile. So I've had to flee Western Australia because of a cult that I was born into, and it's a pretty drastic measure, but so is going to a maximum security prison, and so is being removed from the place that you've been living in, and so is accusations of violence and all these different things, and threatening behaviour by police, and defamation, and everything else that's been going on. So I actually consider the fact that I was staying there was the dangerous thing. That was the reckless thing. That was the courageous thing in order to gain the evidence that I needed in order to hopefully end this, bring light to this phenomenon, and clear my name. And so that's why I stayed for so goddamn long, because this needs to end. And there are thousands and thousands and thousands of Australian families, thousands and thousands and thousands of Australian children and adults that were children once, that have been captured and are being tortured, manipulated, psychologically abused, you name it, by this cult, the cult of pharmaceutical psychiatry. So I'm going to go into a couple of different issues that I have discovered in my 38-year stand against this cult, and more specifically, very intensely, say 3-year, and slightly less intensely, 10-year stand against this cult. My assumptions were that it was a cult and that it would behave like a cult, and it did. It really, 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 really did. It actually acted like a cult that we have not seen in a very long time, because its members had the confidence to use state-based adjudication, state-based policing and security in order to process cult business, cult activity, cult disciplinary action. And either through incompetence, my guess is that it's incompetence by the West Australian state government, cannot police its own police. It can't police anything, actually. It can't police its own hospitals, it can't police its own prisons, it can't police its own judiciary, it can't police anything. And that's why I've gone further up constantly in order to actually get some order back to a system that has got so many plugs in it that it may as well be Neo sitting in that pool, on that bathtub, in that fucking thing, you know what I mean? That's, if you think of Neo, like, this is a weird way to think about it, but think of our state government as Neo, and he's got all those plugs in him. That's what is happening at the moment. And behind some of those plugs are evil cults, evil systems of manipulation, of torture, of just corruption, fraud, theft, everything, you name it. All plugged into little old Neo, which was my former hometown of Western Australia. So luckily I've landed here and have landed on a patch of property that has been owned by my family for a very long time, and so I've been able to kind of camp there, and yeah, pretty rough. It's been pretty cold, been big acclimatization period, and haven't quite got it right yet. Still been pretty fucking cold every night, but despite 3 or 4 hours of shuddering, bone chilling cold and a hard floor to sleep on, being free from that cold, that is a small price to pay, and if I may as well be in the Hilton. And knowing that I left there successfully with the research and the investigation that I left with, and the log that has been very thankfully kept by Meta, by Facebook, by Instagram, by Mark Zuckerberg, his foresight into the future concerns that humanity may be going through, and his brilliant strategy of record keeping, and especially metadata, so timing, order of posts, or all these things that a lot of us don't think about. This is going to be the new paradigm as we reorder the world and we uncover the entities and organizations that have attached themselves parasitically to our system. And so yeah, the one I'm going to start with is, what am I going to do? I see I'd already done this, so this is why I'm getting frustrated. But yeah, there are no facilities on this piece of property, but luckily it's pretty close to a facility with a gym and showers and toilets, and I've got like a weekly membership, so I can have a shower, have a toilet, very affordable, ridiculously affordable actually, if you ask me. There is a pool and there is a spa, and there's lockers that I can lock things up securely, and there's almost 24-hour access, so that's pretty good, and that allows me to self-fund my recovery from what is, in my rigorous research and own interpretation, is recovery from a neurological impairment probably caused by a pretty severe head injury almost 10 years ago. The progress I've made over the last 3 years, it is dead slow, like this is the most troubling part, is how slow it is, but progress is progress, and although I always feel like I'm at this tipping point, I think that's perhaps just my interpretation and keeps me motivated. But I do really feel like I'm at a significant tipping point. I've worked my way up from my feet to my lower legs, to my knees, to my upper body. Everything is pretty much working bang on. And there is just one small section down from, say, my third vertebra up from my pelvis and down to about halfway down my hamstring that is still just wonky, not working properly. And the reason I know it's not working properly is because I was an athlete as a child, and I was very in touch with my body. I knew what it could do, and it could do some pretty amazing things. And yeah, although my aspirations aren't to ollie a skateboard down stairs or anything like that, but I would like to get back to at least being able to walk properly and to run properly without like crippling pain. And so I want to describe the my observations, so I have a log of it for future reference for scientific research. Because that's what I've been doing. I've been scientifically documenting, and militarily documenting, and intelligence documenting this phenomenon, because it plugs into almost everything. And I was in a unique situation to do this, and so I did it. And I will continue to do it until it's done. And sorry, this is a bit of a muddled mess. The last one was a little bit more ordered, but I'm trying to just do this by memory. So, yeah, there seems to be. I'm making significant progress by visually, and this is all the stuff with the feminine thing. I've been playing with that for like 4 years, because in my mind, this feminine movement that I would have been bombarded with my whole life, it's been slipping into that has allowed me to recover, and I'll do pretty much whatever it takes. And so there's a few things that could be going on here. This could be that we're getting exposed to a variety of media that is showing healthy female movement and so contrived male movement, or over exuberant male movement in activities that aren't good for longevity, whereas the female movement seems to be better for longevity and for overall function. And this is almost every woman that I see, especially the gym, moves far better than any of the men. Men do not move well, because we're kind of men traditionally, we've been the Swiss Army knife of the world. We've been asked to do all types of things. We've been asked to do farmers, soldiers, sportsmen. There's even men that climb up on fucking high voltage lines on their hands and knees to clean them. We are asked to do lots of different things with our bodies, but more than likely there is, some pretty baseline movement patterns that we are supposed to be functioning the majority of our lives in. And so I've found it more useful to adopt a feminine gait and a feminine kind of posture and movement, because most of the masculine movements I encounter are they're additional. There's additional factors to it that are leading to complications. So I'm trying to strip this back to the baseline, bare minimum, natural gait, natural movement, natural posture, natural rhythm, things like that. And my history in music and rhythm and movement, all these things, is assisting me in doing this. But the pull and specifically this individual leg press machine is allowing me to load up weight on that upper hamstring and glute, and shift balance and literally move muscles around on the bones. A lot of the stuff I'm doing and encountering, I've never seen anyone nor heard anyone in the physical therapy or in the training, personal training, anything like that, speak of anything like this. And so basically all those individuals are completely incompetent to do severe level recovery from physical conditions. They are not trained. They do not know what they're doing. They will make everything worse, not by their intention, but just by the fact that their healthy interpretation of their body is wonderful. And I'm sure, if they want to show it off down at the beach, that's a great thing. But if they're trying to assist someone that has major adaptive misfunction of their body, either caused by misuse, not use, lethargy, or not lethargy, what is it? Inaction, too much sitting, or neurological damage like mine, or perhaps surgeries or injuries recovery. All these things, they're just not going to be able to do it, because what the largest effective methods and methodologies I'm using, I've had to discover myself, and they are complicated to explain, and your interpretation of your healthily functioning body is not a good framework to assist someone whose body isn't working as it should. And this phenomenon that I've just broken down with the physiotherapy world and the physical training world, this applies across the board. This applies in mental health, in psychology, in psychiatry. There's a word for this it's like a type 1 error. This phenomenon, which if I could call it, if there was a theory for it, would just be like, it'd be high horse. It'd be, high horse, the high horse phenomenon or something like that, because it's all these systems, all these professions are based on, I think, when it comes down to it, and this is just coming to me, so this is all new, and I didn't intend on speaking about this, but I'll do it. I think our systems were based on almost a guilt of a higher class mentality that had acquired and created lives themselves, and they were quite happy with them, and then they'd looked after their family, they'd built their estates, they'd built their houses, they'd built these things, they'd built their businesses, they employed people, but people were still struggling, and they had a thing to care, and so they built things of care, and then this is where perhaps their children went, because their wealth had already been sorted. So this phenomenon, it's the very beginnings of our idea of what public healthcare is, I think, comes from a position, and look, this isn't blame, because they didn't have to do anything. They could have come up with their decision, these people are so fucking miserable, let's just kill them all. I think the fact that they said, these people are all miserable and having problems, let's encourage our children to try and help, and let's build systems of care, and all that's a million times better than just killing everyone, which is what people did for thousands of years. So it's not, this isn't a criticism towards that class or that history or anything like that. It's just an observation that we need to address to understand the complexities of our larger public health / general health, general practitioner, all the professions within the medical container. If we don't understand where they came from, we can't understand where they may be going wrong. And I think that is subconsciously my position of being, despite I have enough resources I could buy an apartment in most cities in Australia, but I'm sleeping on the floor in the rain and using a public gym to do my treatment because I'm trying to understand some complicated shit at a deep level, and I have to absorb myself into it. I have to see it from a different place, and from that position, these are the things that I'm encountering, these are the things I'm discovering. Our professionals are captured by their own profession, by their own profession's history, by their own function, and just by the think who are the most well-off? Doctors and lawyers. So that's okay if they understand their blindness. You know what I mean? In cars, the first thing you learn is about blind spots. because cars are dangerous. Well, so is medicine, so is law, so is government, so is politics. I'm the blind spot mirror, and I told you, I sell mirrors. I've always sold mirrors. That's all I am. I'm that little blind spot stick-on mirror that I've just attached to the entire medical world. And I'm going to prevent thousands and thousands of crashes, of deaths, of torture, of all these things that don't need to happen. So the last video I talked a little bit more, the one that got fucked up, I talked a little bit about the cult that I have escaped. This is my main focus. We have an epidemic, I'm certain of Munchausen by proxy, caused by the psychiatric industry's switch from institutionalized care to pharmaceutical care, and mainly their insistence to perpetuate this inheritance ideology, which is discrimination by its very nature. And it takes someone who has a lot of patience, a lot of dedication, a lot of sense of duty, and a history that is from a higher class, but enough of a grounding in the lowest class. As I said, I'm sleeping on the fucking floor. I'm as comfortable with most homeless people as I am with a barrister. So it's from this unique position. And again, this is coming from my guilt of whatever prosperity, and trying to fix it. It's just that I'm a systems engineer. And so I'm trying to fix the system rather than trying to continue a profession. My family doesn't have a profession of medical. It has a profession of business and, engineering. And my dad specifically was a preventative maintenance engineer. That's what he did for factories. Our medical system has turned into a factory, and I'm doing preventative maintenance to prevent catastrophe in all sectors. Government, politicians, their main problem is just complete negligence. They have no systems of feedback, and they are ignoring direct feedback. That would be unacceptable in any actual engineering. And these systemic, these systems are engineered the same. If I came and said, hey, this just fell off the bridge, I think the bridge is going to fall down. Yeah, which has happened here. So it's pretty cool place to say it. My dad, I think, was here when the bridge fell down, or maybe I can't remember, but he told me about it. If I phoned up Jeremy Rockwall, the Premier of Tasmania, and said, mate, I just saw this thing fall off the bridge, I think we better get that. They'd check it. They'd fucking check it, and they'd make sure that bridge doesn't fucking fall and kill thousands of people. So our systems, our medical systems, our organisational governmental systems, they're pieces of engineering, and they are systems, and they can fail just the same as a bridge, and they are failing. And I'm telling you how they're failing, and I've been telling you for a couple of years, and I've had to escape the state of my birth in order to continue telling specifically West Australia, but it'll be all the states. I haven't tried to get feedback from the state here because I haven't had enough time here to really know what's going on. But Western Australia, I know what's going on there. Mental health, I know what's going on there. Psychiatric care, I know what's going on there because I was born into it. And I've experienced absolute abuse and torment and torture from that industry without them even knowing, because it's a blind spot. They can't even tell, and they have no systems of feedback. Like, there's nowhere to phone and say, I just saw something fall from the bridge, I think the bridge is going to fall down. Unlike the bridge falling down, people in this system, they jump off the bridge or they jump off buildings, or they blow their brains out, or they fucking hang themselves, or they drink themselves to death, or they overdose on drugs, or the millions of ways that people in our system are killing themselves. Now, one of the wonderful things that has been keeping this all under the rug, wonderful as far as if you're a politician or you're a government employee, especially if you're in this industry, is the fact that we don't publish suicide rates under some type of false thing that would increase suicide. So we don't get made aware of how many people are killing themselves, because that may make it worse. It may make more people kill themselves, like monkey see, monkey do. That's not going to fly anymore. This is an engineering systemic flaw in an experimental procedural ideology, in a recklessly just pseudo-scientific fashion, in a multi-generational cult creation. I don't think it was intentional. I think it's an unintentional cult that has been created, and they don't even know, and there aren't leaders so much. There's just books and a system and a system that won't recognize it because it employs too many people. It's too difficult to do. There's 100 reasons why, but if it's happened to me, who has pretty good resources, and I've been talking about it the whole time, then what's happening to the people who are too afraid or in a far worse position that they won't speak about it? That will be far worse. There will be horrific cases in every direction, and that is what I know for certain, because it happened to me while I was speaking about it. My sister literally mocked me for trying to speak about it like this, thinking that there was no way anyone was listening to me and my cries for help. This is the level, and that's not, my sister isn't evil. She is captured by a cult that we were born into. My mother is the same. It's just one of those things. It's what humans have done thousands of times in the past. It's just got people in shiny new cars and shiny glass buildings and nice clean clothes and, government systems and automation and all these things attached to it. So it doesn't have the same look that we're used to of people being stuck up on a fucking thing and burnt alive. But that's what's happening. And some new things that are even weirder and more concerning than that stuff. So yeah, on that note, and on this, it's just taking a chilly tan. It's very cold here. I have to carry 3 jumpers with me at all times just to make sure I'm not freezing, as my body, I'm guessing, starts producing brown fat in order to insulate it from the freezing cold, and then I can walk around in these light jumpers and light pants like everyone else and actually look like a Tasmanian instead of some fucking some Californian that's just rocked up and wandering around our town. And I'm also going to go jump in that spa and get some sauna and do some exercise. But yeah, the pool is the significant point that I'm doing now, and that's that's been wonderful. So I'm going to go continue my self-funded, self-driven physiotherapy and recovery and all that. Self-funded exile, self-funded documentation, self-funded exposure of the cult I was born into, self-funded, just everything really. Why would anyone do this? See, the answer, this is the problem. So, why are you doing that? Because he's mentally ill. I kid you not. No, I'm doing it because I've been tortured by something that I'm trying to protect my children from, and thousands of other people are. That's how I was raised. I was raised to, if there's a problem, fix it. So I'm not going to stop ever until this is fixed. And this is the way that the world accepts it to be fixed. The way that I would personally like to fix it is illegal. So I have to do all this work in order to make sure that the changes are long-lasting and are accepted by the masses, because any type of rash solutions would just be used against me. But that basically means that people are being left alive that should probably be dead because they're torturing people. In the case, so then more people are dying. So I am doing this strategy. This is my selfish strategy, is doing it this way, because if I did the unselfish strategy, although I may be successful, if I got caught doing that, I would then be in jail forever. So do you get it? Do you get how difficult systemically these systems are to redesign? Especially when you have a government that's like this. Oh, can't see it from my house. Can't see it from my house. That's what shit tradesmen say, and that's what I'm guessing shit politicians have the same mentality, except they're responsible for thousands and thousands of lives, multi-generation into the future, and completely negligent in almost all aspects. So on that, I'm freezing. I'm going to go get a coffee. Look at this beautiful garden, isn't it lovely? Yeah. I hope you're having a great day. Thank you for listening.